Good morning. Welcome to Gruber Power Hour. I'm Janie,
And I'm Nicole.
and I'm looking forward to today because we have some more guests coming in, some more wonderful people that work in the backgrounds and operations within our facilities. And I wanted to, before we do that, talk about one of the services that we offer to our customers. And in fact, we're going to be coming out with a video, right, Jesse, talking about our rental equipment?
Yeah, Cass is working on that one now, and then after that, we have the free tech support one.
Fantastic. So we've got something coming out soon. But yes, we offer rental units.
Right. And if you haven't heard about the earthquake yet this morning, that's some services that hopefully we can provide to some of our customers out there, as well as our, speaking about customer service,
Right.
that we so much emphasize. All of our account managers are on the phone this morning calling every customer that we have in New York and New Jersey and just making sure that everybody is taken care of. And if there's anything that we can do to help them out this morning, we're definitely all hands on deck working on that. So if you're in the area and you're not a customer of ours, feel free to give us a call at our free tech support
line. Well, they can
phone
call on our
number.
main line, the
The main number.
602-863-2655, extension 256. Goes right to our tech support line.
Perfect.
Yeah. There we
So
go.
if you
What's
need
that
us,
number
call
again? Can you guys give that number again? One more
Sure.
time?
It's 602-863-2655, extension 256. Yep. That's where you want to reach out to. We'll get you taken care of. That was a great point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's been a hot topic this morning
Right.
within the power department.
Right.
Just between all the account managers, and they're having other people help them reach out as well, because we do have such a big community out there that we just want to make sure everybody is getting the support that they need. There's not a whole lot that we can do from Arizona, but we'll do as much as we can. You know, we do have technicians out there that are just like everybody else. They're just super busy, but anything we can help out with here from our headquarters, we are definitely
Well,
doing
you
that.
know, our technicians will get right on the phone with them, and thank goodness for technology
Right.
now. They'll
FaceTime is amazing. Right.
They'll
Exactly.
FaceTime with our customers and walk through the startup procedures and things like that, the steps to go along to get the
Right.
unit up and running when they need it,
So-
which is fantastic.
So customers or not, if you need us, we're here for you.
Absolutely. Very good. So anyways, what we were
So,
talking about.
back to the point.
One of the advantages in the services that we offer is providing our customers with temporary units, UPS units, for when they have different events taking place at their facility.
Right.
We have a stock of refurbished equipment with various makes, models, sizes, allowing us to provide that temporary support when it's needed. And ensure, to ensure that we're fitting everything correctly as
Right.
they need to have it. But yeah, so we've had a lot of customers come to us in the past using the rental equipment as that fix when they're in between doing their adds, moves, or changes.
Right.
Do you have anything you want to add to it as far as any of the value points that you think of? I mean, I know the maintenance support, the fact that we've got that.
Right. One of the things, and I don't know if this goes on the talking points, but
Sure.
when I was on Justin Brownlow's team, we had a few different customers that used this option. One of them because they had ordered a brand new UPS, but they had to redo like some electrical stuff to upgrade. So we had something there to support the most critical items while they took the old one out and put the new one in.
Right.
I know that there was a customer that something had happened to their UPS, and so somebody drove out a whole truck unit to them. It was like
Okay.
a portable truck unit. It was really kind of
Oh, wow.
cool. And then another account manager, Dwayne Moore, who I worked with, there was a college that same situation. Their unit went down. There was one on order, but they needed to do something in between. And so
Right.
I've seen it work on different occasions for different people. And it's definitely an asset because at least it gets you to where you need to be. And it gives you a little bit of time if you're maybe not 100% sure of what your next move is or what you want to do. It kind of helps you in that in between time of at least we know we're covered. but maybe I'm not sure what unit I want just yet, or maybe I'm working on my budget, or I'm having to get approval or something like that. It's
Right.
definitely a lot more cost effective
Right.
to rent one until you figure out exactly what you need.
Right. Oh, those are great
So-
talking points.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
I tried a little.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. When, like during COVID, lead times went up. What from
So
the
badly.
OEMs, it was taking a lot longer to get a new unit in.
Right.
And so to cover those times, you know, it didn't matter who you went to.
No,
You
and
were
lead
gonna
times are
have
still
that
not great.
Right. So in order to cover those times, we have those options to get you going in between to ensure that you're
That you don't lose your important, most valuable information and time.
Exactly.
For
So definitely contact one of our wonderful account managers if that option is something that you're seeking, because we'll definitely see what we can work for you. Let's go ahead and bring in. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to that as far as talking points for it? Not yet. Not right now. Okay. Well, before I called anybody in, I wanted to make sure.
What I
Okay.
needed to. No, I don't
No,
know.
you did a great job. I think that was awesome. All right, so let's bring our first guest in this morning. I would like to bring in the lovely Lorilee.
Speaking of service,
Yes, speaking of service in those critical moments, I can just step right through there. There you go.
we don't have arrows on the floor.
Ladies.
Good
morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so excited
My
to have you
pleasure
on.
to be here.
It's wonderful to have you.
Thanks.
You can wear headphones if you want or not.
I can.
Talk into the mic.
There you go.
Yeah. I just found.
Lorilee is
Jamie
one
and
of
I
the
vetoed.
most bright and bubbly people
Yes.
that we have around this place.
She definitely is.
I can't help but point that out.
Yeah,
You know,
thank
you
you.
catch her, she's got a smile, she's got energy, she's got enthusiasm.
You hired me.
Well, those are part of the reason.
For real.
Exactly. So what we wanted to talk about today was similar to what we've been talking to the other guests, but to get your perspective and your
Okay.
viewpoint. First off, how long have you worked here now?
I have been here about 4.5 years.
Wow, time goes by fast.
It'll be five in October.
That's
I
fantastic.
know. Time has
Right?
flown. Yes.
That's fantastic. Yay. Now, what is your role here now? I know you've done a lot of different roles.
Right.
What's your role here now?
My role now is central coordinator for the central region of the United States. So North Dakota, South Dakota, all the way down. So
Okay.
I handle that entire region.
Now, as a coordinator, that means you're talking to our customers, you're talking to our technicians, our FEs out in the field, you're talking to the account
Subcontractors,
managers,
general managers,
Oh, yeah.
everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Maintenance directors, facility guys, whomever we can get our hands on to get the information we need.
You sound like an orchestra conductor.
Yeah.
Conductor in an orchestra. You're making sure everything's happening when it
Yes,
needs
exactly.
to happen.
And that's
She's
exactly
a
what we
music
need to do.
lover, so that's perfect.
Yeah. True that.
Yes.
Exactly. So, what originally attracted you to this company?
I had been actually driving around when I was employed at my last position, looking for something closer to home. So I was just driving through neighborhoods.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of the shopping, of course, is up here at Deer Valley area. And I just so happened to live down the street. So I was driving around and just kind of stumbled across
Oh, how funny.
the name Gruber Industries. And then I drove around a little bit more. I went home and I checked it out on the internet, like, just out of fun and research. And then I realized that this was a family owned conglomerate. And I really wanted something more intimate, not so huge and corporate, which I've been involved in.
Right.
So it was
right.
it was the fact that it was family owned and that it just seemed just really more of a comfortable fit for me. So
Okay.
as soon as that job was over, I gave you guys a call.
I remember that.
And then I had two
remember that.
then I had an interview with Janie and the other gal is Tiffany Burt. So I had
Right.
I'm used to panel interviews.
Right.
But this is a little bit different and very nice because it was two business women
Oh, okay. Right.
coming together and kind of laying it on the line what we're all about and what they expected from me.
Yeah.
And it was very comfortable. As you well know, it's very intimidating when you are in a panel interview.
Oh, right.
And I'm
right.
used to being in these large panel interviews.
Right.
And it was so nice just to have you and Tiffany
at the time,
doing the
yeah.
interviewing and kind of just letting me know what was all about.
Right. Well, that's really important.
Yeah,
That's
it was so
what-
important for me, especially.
Right.
So I was coming from a totally different kind of industry. Even though I've had
Sure.
dispatching and scheduling in the past,
Right.
this was a little bit more intrinsic and
That's-
specialized.
Right.
Yeah, industry.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's such a niche market.
Yeah, and it was a little frightening at first.
Sure.
You know, like
Oh,
everything
I
is.
felt the same way when
Yeah.
I moved over into this industry, coming from a whole different world, mortgage banking and finance, and being the critical power industry. I was like, I have no idea what this is.
I didn't either.
I don't understand the language. I don't. And so, Google became my best friend.
Me too.
Our website was my best friend. I
Yes.
was constantly on our website. What is this? And what is that?
Yeah, and that's exactly
Yeah.
how, before I came for my interview, that's what I did. I looked into the
Right.
website and was able to get more familiar with, okay, that's what they do, because I did not know what
Right.
what this type of power was and why
Yeah.
it's so important for us.
Right. I didn't even know they existed.
Yeah. So now,
Yeah.
I consider myself an old pro now.
Right.
And I work with a great staff, and I have a great comfort zone now where I'm not afraid to ask questions
Right.
like you are when you first come on board.
Yeah.
You're a
You're
little
like,
timid.
What
Yes.
exactly
Yeah.
is that?
Exactly. But things are going nice and smooth now, and I like what I do, and I enjoy what I do, and I enjoy the people that I work with, which is
Well,
so
that's
important.
fantastic. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. That is a big part of it. What you've described and what you've given us goes right into two of the questions that I was going to ask anyways,
Okay.
talking about, what sets this company apart from other companies that you've worked
Right.
would be the corporate versus the private. Is that correct?
Absolutely. It's a huge difference when you are a number versus a name.
Right.
Many times people don't, unless you have your name tag, hey, I'm Lorilee, there's many times where your supervisors, et cetera, don't really know what you do because there's an upper echelon that works your way down. Here,
right.
I can just talk to my neighbor right next door to my next desk.
Oh,
Or I
right.
can call upstairs and ask questions. Boom, boom. I'll have my answers within, a fairly easy amount of time. And if I don't have it, you guys or the other people will help us get it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the most important part.
That's
It's just getting your
fantastic.
answers.
Knowing who to ask.
Yes, and not being leery or timid to ask them.
That's Claude's big thing is just know who to ask. That's one of the Gruber mottos.
Yes,
Know who to ask.
agreed.
Right.
So important.
Right.
Especially in my area in service.
Yes.
If you don't have that answer right away, there are people on the other line going, I need this answer now.
Right.
And
right.
so
'Cause
we
it's a
are jumping on it.
critical.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
the critical epicenter of what's going on and what's happening.
Yes, and
You are.
it's exciting, and it's exhilarating, and it's
Right.
frightening all at the same time because you need to get this all done, and you
Right.
need to go from point A to Z in just a matter of moments to get these people taken care of in a proper fashion.
That's awesome.
So one thing I wanted to just popped into my mind, talking about how Gruber is separated from other companies.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Lorilee and her team are responsible for the on-call.
Absolutely.
So weekly they change out who is on call. So when you call in the middle of the night, you actually get a human that works at Gruber. Whereas a lot
Right.
of companies that I've worked for in the past, when you call after hours, either you're getting a human at a call center that has no idea
Answering
who that you're
service.
calling.
Yep.
They could be taking calls for 95 different businesses and 58 different markets that they have no idea what you're doing or why it's important.
Exactly.
Right.
And a lot of times you get an answering service, like an answering machine, like a computer person, an AI situation, versus actually being able to speak to somebody. And so I think that is definitely something that would separate Gruber apart from somebody else's.
Absolutely. That's
when
a
you
great
call on
point.
Lorilee's week, Lorilee is the one at 3 o'clock
This
in the
is
morning.
that fabulous person taking
Right.
care of you.
Exactly. At 3 a.m., you woke up Lorilee, and she is happy to help you with her bubbly
Absolutely.
personality, even though it's
Right.
3 a.m.
Exactly. That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a fantastic point, and I'm glad you pointed that out. Now, what advice would you give to a new employee?
Just to be patient and comfortable and not to be so intimidated. I was a little intimidated. I'm not going
Sure.
to lie. And I'm not the type to get intimidated easily. But when new people come in and they see all the stuff and they get the tour and
Oh,
they see
right.
the parts room and they see the machinery and they see, all what's going on here, it's a little overwhelming. So just take your time, be slow, ask questions. Don't rush through your day. We have great trainers, and the trainers, if they don't have the answer, they're going to get the answer for you, just like we mentioned earlier.
Right.
Anytime there's a question, even somebody who's a senior, like you, who've been here for a while, there still might be questions that pop up that
Oh,
we need
yeah.
to know.
Every day.
So
It changes every day.
It changes every day. And I do absolutely learn something new every day, especially because I order parts and stuff. Parts change, things like that.
Oh, right.
So new employees, and we've had a lot of good new people come on board who've been doing really, really well. And as long as they stay, just focused and don't be afraid to ask questions, I think
Right.
the success will be overwhelming for them.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to give everybody out there a visual or perspective, we have a campus here of 7 different buildings.
Yes.
Because we have so much going on here. We have, our multiple divisions. So when we talk about, how big we are and how expanded and all the different areas that are going on, it's because of that.
Yep.
Yes.
You
Right.
can get your steps in every day, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Janie and I get our steps in quite often.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure. Now, last question. What are you most excited for the future of the company?
Just continued growth to go on the path that we've been on so far.
Okay.
Because the
yeah.
fact that especially in my department, being a service coordinator, we have 4 of us that handle. I'm central, then we have East Coast, we have West Coast, and then we have headquarters. And the 4 of us have all been here now all over 4 years. So we've
wow.
got a
That's good.
senior status. So we pretty much know what's going to come up
Okay.
Right.
and be able to tackle it preemptively before it gets out of hand, which happens because emergencies can happen just boom like that overnight. So we just have to be very conscientious, which we try to be.
Right.
Like she says, I'm going to be the one that's starting to be on call
Right.
for this weekend. And then we go for an entire week. And as long as we stay we're doing really well the way we are right now.
Right.
Right.
But it's exciting to know that we're still expanding.
Right.
We have customers in Hawaii, in Guam, in Ontario, in Vancouver, and we're picking up more customers on a daily basis all over the world, just not the U.S.
Right.
So that's exciting to me that our growth is still so pertinent.
Right.
Every day we're growing. And so for a family-owned company to be in this kind of industry and still be so competitive, it's great. It is so
yeah.
great. And it makes me want to get up and come to work and do a good job. And let me tell you, I
Not
drive.
me.
That's you too. And that's you too. And that's you too.
I know.
We're all still in that boat.
Right.
And me, I drive 100 miles a day to get here.
Oh, that's what I meant. You drive here to see me.
Yeah.
Not because you love your job.
I do both because you will help me with my job.
Yes.
So
Right.
yeah, it's still exciting, and I don't see me going anywhere
That's
anytime soon.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Right,
I like
right.
what I do, and I'm good at what I do. So I like to continue to flourish here as long as I can.
Right. And see how we evolve.
Gosh, we've evolved so much just in the short time I've been here. It's
Right.
miraculous.
It's fantastic.
Our downstairs where I'm at, there were what, 3 or 4 or 5 people total. Now we have a full floor.
Right.
Right.
Overwhelming staff of sales and service working together in conjunction. So just that growth right there has happened within the last 2 years.
Right.
So are we going to have to get another building? I mean, to fit
I mean-
a
well,
lot
I
of these
know
new people?
Pete plans on taking over the whole block.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to.
One
With due
building
time.
at a time.
Exactly.
One building at a time. And I do like something that you pointed out there, Lorilee, is how everybody works together.
Absolutely.
Sales and service works together. A lot of places I've worked before, there's a disconnect between sales and operations.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like the disconnect between sales and operations here isn't this as big of a gap as it is in most places. The salespeople understand what service goes through, and so does the service coordinators also kind of understand where the salespeople are coming through. And part of that is the employee development program where everybody kind of does each other's jobs and understands,
Right.
what's going
Have that
on behind the
background.
scenes. So that's another thing that definitely sets Gruber apart from a lot of different companies is that camaraderie between different
Departments. Right.
different departments within the same department.
Right.
If that
And
makes
I
sense.
noticed that, and I did make
Different
a note,
job titles.
I did make
Yeah.
a note of that as far as you and your training. I made a note on what's different between the places that we've worked before.
Right.
And it's because our trainers have a real keen eye of what their employee might need, the new employee might need. She's able to see, okay,
Right.
are they troubled? Are they having some difficulty?
Right.
Let's take them aside and maybe go through a few things. We don't want people to be frustrated. We want them to be comfortable when they come on board.
Right. Absolutely.
And so a keen eye is we do have great trainers.
Well, thank you.
Right.
Lorilee.
And I have been trained really well
Fantastic.
by a few different people in my department. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, it was difficult because I had a lot to learn.
Right.
I'd been a dispatcher for 20 years in HVAC and plumbing here in the Valley, which is fine. I'm working with technicians and I'm working with field engineers like we are now. But it's such a different industry when you come on board, how much more hectic things can get if you don't have the help.
Right.
That you need.
So that we
Yeah.
need. So the training is really keen. So kudos to her and her staff for
Oh,
that.
good
Thanks,
job.
Lorilee. And I did not pay her for that.
We did have a comment made.
Okay.
Oh, well, do you still have that, Jesse? There we go.
We were taking too
Pete
long.
Gruber, Lorilee is an awesome resource. Thanks for joining our podcast. Absolutely.
Thank you,
I
Pete.
agree.
You bet. Thank you.
We're certainly happy. Macy, Gruber is our second family. You know
what?
it's true.
And
We're
that is
here
true.
so much of the time. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
you have to enjoy the people you work with. And luckily for me, I pretty much get along with everybody. Yes, we are busy. Yes, we are focused. But
Right.
we always take the time to meet and greet. When new people come around, she'll bring them around to
Yep.
shake
Right.
our hands and meet people. So it's you're never a stranger. It is
Right.
definitely a second home.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Macy, fun fact, his father actually works over in the comm department.
Right.
So we have a lot of families that obviously have to work in different divisions
or
with the
departments.
company or
Yeah.
departments. But Macy and his father are both employees of Gruber. So
Right.
See, that's
just
nice.
fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nice to know.
Which is neat.
Hi,
Yep.
Arthur. Hope you're doing well.
That's right. Shout out to Arthur.
And Macy. Thanks,
That's
Macy.
right.
Thanks for the comments.
Okay, so anyways, well, that wraps it up for our wonderful time with Lorilee.
Thanks, gals.
Is there anything you would like to add?
Just keep up the good work with the podcast. It seems to be starting to roll now.
Yeah.
And get more.
We're percolating.
Oh, yeah, you're percolating. That's
Yeah.
a good word for it.
Yeah, we're
And
percolating.
Just continue because I think the more and more people start coming in and looking at us and checking us out, we'll never be at a lax for new employees coming in. We always have something to offer people.
Right.
So
right.
just both
And
of
we're
you guys.
almost always hiring too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always hiring the right person, but we're almost always hiring in general.
for the right person. There you go.
But the right person we will find somewhere for you.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Right.
in other words, I wish you both luck on that because I know
you.
that's hard work. And I appreciate you inviting me on today. It was
Absolutely.
enjoyable.
Well, thank you.
Love to have
Thank
you.
you. All right. Well, have a wonderful day. Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
Lorilee.
Bye. in a little bit.
All right. So we have another wonderful guest that we're going to bring in. It's somebody everybody's met before,
Right.
but we're going to take a different spin on it this time. And so I would like to bring in Lenny. Lenny, come on down.
And Lenny's also a great guest to have today. You know, Lorilee with service, and she would
Right.
help to coordinate getting these rentals. And Lenny is the one that makes sure that we have them operable for our customers.
Exactly. The way it works through it. That's a great point. It all
Link
ties
them all
together. You know, we were talking at the beginning of the podcast about our ability to provide the temporary UPS equipment when customers are going through different adds, moves, or changes. They've got something going on at their facility, you know, whether they're doing additional work and they need to have that temporary unit in between, and the fact that we're able to offer that. And that's from some of the wonderful work that you provide. So tell us, Lenny, how long have you been here now?
At the end of this month will be 3 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Well,
That's
thank you.
awesome. I
Thank
remember
you.
when you first got started here. I remember
I know. I
those
spent
days.
4 days in comm sales, and then they realized what my background was.
And we're like, oh,
See you later.
scoop them up. That's right.
Yeah.
I was still shy then. I don't remember you starting. I was still being shy. You started right
The
after me.
introverted stage.
I went on a tour with Pete over at Gruber Motor, the other building, and Al was there at the former technician and
Right.
everything, and I was like, oh, you guys still do this work? I did this for like my first 6 years in the military. I did this type of work. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I didn't think anybody still did this.
Right,
And
right.
that's when they're like, okay, let's get the wheels in motion to get you out of comp sales
He's got
Right.
skills.
into this.
Get you where we need you.
Skills.
Again,
I should have
another
opened my mouth.
groomer expertise area
Right.
is
Yeah.
putting you where you belong.
Right. We don't put a square peg in a round hole.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So describe your role here now.
Well, I guess I would be the depot repair specialist because I did the module stuff, and as far as the individual pieces that go into an UPS, and now I'm doing the whole unit as a whole, the frames, the battery cabinets, the PDUs, from cradle to grave, painting and repairing board work still, and then also making sure the modules, batteries, everything works together before we send it out as a whole unit.
That's
And
fantastic.
also doing the single phase UPS also besides just 3-phase or anything like that.
Okay. Now, for those of you out there, and, because I recognize when I came new into this industry, before I understood terminology, what is a depot? What is a depot? I remember first coming in and going, what's the depot? What is
Where you
it?
get on the train or the bus.
Exactly. So our depot is where we have a repair facility. We have the high voltage wiring coming into it so that way you guys can energize the equipment, correct?
Yes.
And put the wattages and things like that, what the voltages that you want to make sure that the UPSs are running.
To
Proper.
factory standards, right?
Yep, there you
Or
go.
as close to factory standards as you can get, because what you want to do is you want to emulate what's in the field. You want
Right.
to try to emulate 100%, not as much as to 100% emulate what's in the field as possible. That way, you're more comfortable when the customer receives it and they're hooking it up, electricians, whoever's doing it.
Right.
You've already done due diligence on everything, so it should be just almost as simple as plug and play. Sometimes it's not,
Right.
but we try to, by being more thorough here in our depot with a more quality standard, is to take that guesswork out.
Right.
Take those little issues that may come about out before it even gets to the site.
Right. Yeah, it's an isolated area that we integrate high safety standards to,
And
ensuring.
you're not allowed in there without permission.
Right. Exactly.
So there's no wanderers.
There's no more.
Go ahead, Nicole. We've got a.
So Pete says Lenny realizes the podcast goes so much smoother and cooler with sunglasses.
He's
Hey,
calling
I
us
did
out.
all the other podcasts before, so
I know he's calling us
a
out.
tiger can't change his stripes.
Right.
That's right.
I mean, he does the sunglasses well, so we'll let him.
So, anyways, what originally attracted you to this company?
Honestly, I I was out of the job at the time, transitioning from the military between other jobs also.
Right.
And I'd heard about Gruber being down at Fort Huachuca in Sierra Vista.
Oh, yeah.
I was down there for
You do
5
a lot
years.
of work down there. Yeah.
And so I heard about it and I saw an online ad. It was sales, and I kind of, I did sales for a couple years out of the military. So I said, hey, let me give this a try, and I've heard of the company. The company's been around for a while. And if a company at that time making it through COVID with all the economy factors and everything closing down was still able to grow and still keep going on that path, it makes you kind of more intrigued for that. Plus, it being a mom and pop startup,
Right.
it kind of makes it like, okay, it's not a franchise, it's not a big corporation, and they still made it through. So what made them get it through?
That's definitely what I highlight as one of our successes as a company is the fact that we were able to get through the 2008, recession, and we were able to get through COVID and still stand stable and grow. And, the fact that the company's been able to get through anything that's going on with the economy, we set ourselves in a place to be solid and, be able to move through those things and overcome them. Now, what sets this company apart from other places you've worked?
Well, I don't have much experience outside of
Military.
26 years of the military and a part-time job before
You are
that.
not told when you can breathe.
What the difference is, I guess, is for me, it was a transition of something that's a little bit smaller, a smaller footprint as far as personnel, as far as and everything. Now, we still have that reach with the United States, in other countries that we're serving, Chile, Canada. I know Lorilee mentioned that one earlier. So, I mean, we still have that reach, but we're also a smaller company. And everything. So for me, it's kind of like downsizing and adjusting to like, okay, I don't have as many people to worry about. There's not a lot of other outside interference with the company and with the people.
When you mention that, it also highlights how you've been able to come in and bring your experience that you've had in implementing processes and being able to provide paths and ways and systems and figuring, and that's been invaluable as well.
And from a user standpoint too, versus just like us, we sell the equipment. I mean, we use it, but not as
I understand what you mean. Yeah, using
we
the
have our
equipment.
UPS, but we have like one per building versus where Fort Huachuca, I would assume, has. Well, I actually know I've seen the records. They have many that they use.
Right.
So it's more of a daily hands-on for the customers, and so having that, I think, is from
That perspective.
From a boss standpoint, that is definitely a very big highlight, knowing that you know the other side of it as well.
Right.
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 And I feel like a lot of the changes he's made has been based on his experience as a consumer.
There you go.
From because we started about the same time.
Right.
And then he transitioned to the depot and kind of worked. And then he kind of started taking over. And there was emails, we're changing this, we're changing that, we're updating this, we're updating that. And the amount of things that he has implemented and just really taken to the next level is just been very amazing. It's very good for our customers.
Right.
It's great for the salespeople because it kind of takes a little bit of that anxiety away because they know that Lenny's been on it. He's got this done. And we know that this is going to be
It's a dependable system that is.
You figure 200 years of the military being around, 200 plus years of the military being around, they figured out something along the way.
right.
Right.
It's all that structure.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep. So, what advice would you give to a new employee?
Listen, God gave you 2 ears, 1 mouth. I mean, not to be so cynical, not to be so cynical, but no, listen. You got so many people here. We've got Ray who's been here 17 years. You got Claude who's been here, I think, like 14 or 15 years. You got all this experience. You got Pete who founded the company, who's a genius with batteries and all this reverse engineering stuff. Listen to people who have paved the way, who have been here for you.
Right.
Just listen. But at the same time, have a voice. Don't be meek. Don't be a mice in the corner or mouse in the corner. Have a voice. but also make sure when you have that voice, you have a suggestion, but listen to people,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And if you have suggestions, like they always say, don't just bring a problem, bring a solution at the same time.
Bingo. Exactly. That
100%.
is key.
Yeah.
That is key. Absolutely. I like that. Now, what are you most excited for the future of the company?
I think continuous growth without cessation.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
If we can continually grow with no cessation, then I think the world's our oyster per se, you know, in a
Right.
different kind of realm. I mean, you see it fundamentally with the numbers that we're putting on the board every month now. You
Right.
see it with more of the sales support team. You see it more with the marketing teams. Just that growth, that internal growth, and not only that, internally promoting. So
Right.
by keeping it in house and growing it organically,
Right.
it'll be sustainable for the next 40 years.
Oh, yeah. That's
You
what we're
know.
looking for.
Right.
You're always
Yeah,
going to
that's
need
our
power.
goals. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
You'll
our goals.
always need power.
And it's the word, I'm trying to think of the word, but you know, it's very methodical, thoughtful. We're growing not too fast, not too quickly. We're not bringing
Right.
200 people in all at once and then taking
Strategic.
over. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was looking
Right.
for.
I was like,
Exactly.
we have the same brain. I just need you to say a few things.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know where I was going with
you
it.
Have to
Yeah.
you have to have a strategy.
Right.
You do.
You have to have
Yes.
a guide. You have to have
Right.
that beacon of light. You know,
Yes.
that you got to follow. You know, you
Yeah.
can't just navigate all for yourself, and then you're deep in the woods and lost.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, it's very methodical in what we do and how we do it. So, well, that's exciting. And we're excited to have you. And I'm glad that you've come in and joined us today. You know,
My
is there
pleasure.
anything else you'd like to add about the company and anything that we do? Or
Yeah. So
provide?
when is Pete going to get the other buildings now?
Right? I know, right? Parking.
You know-
I'm running out of room.
I know Pete, he's constantly watching the market and what's taking place in the neighborhood. And he just waits for that prime opportunity to jump on it.
I'm
you know?
voting for a parking garage. If anybody sees a parking garage for sale around here,
I'm seeing some heads nodding yes out there. Exactly.
You're
we
right.
need some parking.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. I mean, at least he's taking that time now to look now because he understands the growth is coming.
Right.
So he's getting ahead of that cart, you know,
Oh,
and
yeah,
getting ahead
he's
of that train
constantly
before it's
thinking.
running away.
Right.
Oh yeah, I know he's always thinking of what's on the horizon.
He's always coming up with new stuff too. So
That's
that
for
helps.
sure.
Since we started off the podcast with the rental units, is there anything that you would like to add about the benefits of renting a UPS when you're in a situation?
Sure.
Any experience you have or
Um,
advice?
Not so much with anything. It just it provides that stopgap. Because if you don't necessarily know what you need completely, like
Right.
if you're, I mean, what if you're a new construction building?
Right.
What do you know
Yes.
exactly what you're going to need? Now, for the most part, engineers have already decided what you need and everything else, but until it's actually put into place and actually functional, you may need to
You don't
upgrade, you may need
realize.
to downgrade. But if you rent, you can kind of navigate those waters of where you need to go permanently. It
Right.
gives that temporary solution and kind of give it that footprint to, okay, I can go here, I can go here now. You know,
Right.
instead of all of a sudden, I've got this and I'm not happy with it. You know,
Oh
'Cause
sure.
that's a lot of money.
it's like going out and renting a car. If you're going to buy a car,
Mm-hmm.
go rent that model that you want to buy, test drive it with the rental company for a couple of days, then decide if you want to buy it or not, and then kind of
Right.
navigate that way. That's the best advice I can give you.
So that's a great point, though. That-
Cost efficiency. That's a big part of, you know, when you set yourself up with the UPS unit or the
Right.
costs
Right.
and the efficiency of how that unit runs. What were you going to say?
no, that
Same thing?
yeah, no, I was agreeing with it. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought about the new construction. Let's see how this works for us before we make a decision of what we want, because this is what we think, but we're not 100% sure. Like that's a great
Right.
point that I would have never thought of.
Right, right. It's pre-planning.
Right, exactly.
Work proactively, not reactively.
Right, exactly.
Well, with these units, they are, you know, and for those of you out there, and that's a lot of, you know, a big thing that I like to, when we're explaining who we are and what we do to whether it be a new candidate or customers and some perspective. I mean, the units that we sell, these large 3-phase units, they're a big investment.
Very.
And, there's a lot of things that come into place, whether you are working with an electrician because you have to get the place rewired, to take care and sustain that UPS unit. There's so much that is attributed to having it that you can't just willy-nilly go out and say, oh, I'm going to try this one, and, it not be the correct one. And, meaning not just to try it, but meaning you put it in permanently, and
You've
because they're
purchased it.
hardwired into your wall, and
It's like buying a house.
right,
Financially, stepwise, it's very similar to
right.
buying
It's
a house.
a big investment.
It's a very
is.
big investment.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. So that's a big
Yeah.
part
But you
of
can't finance it over 30 years. So
it. right,
that's
right.
the difference.
It's a rental. It can go 30 years.
Well,
Right.
when you decide which one you want to buy,
Right,
right.
you can
exactly.
Yeah.
you can't go 30
So
years with
the-
that one, but
Yes. For sure. All right. Well, thank you for joining us
Oh, my
today. We
pleasure.
appreciate your input. We love having you on. We'll bring you on again someday, to
I'm
add some more.
sure.
Absolutely.
The next time you change stuff, we'll have you coming in
Right.
Next week, the week after. the week after.
later
Give some
today.
stories.
It already happened this week.
Oh, see, there-
Here's another thing that we've got to do.
Yeah.
And what it does, it just makes it more efficient. That's all it does. Is if you put processes in place, it just makes it more efficient.
Makes things more streamlined. We can better serve our customers in the long run, because making sure that we are able to meet the timeline and the expectations of the projects that are at hand, so that all the players in the field nobody's waiting on anybody is
Exactly.
a big part of it, for
Exactly.
sure. For sure. All right. Well, fantastic.
Well, thank
Thank you for
Thank you,
Appreciate
Lenny.
having
We
me.
We'll see
appreciate
you later.
you
Have a
coming
good
in.
afternoon.
Oh, y'all too.
I guess it's
right.
still morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Day.
morning.
Depends on when you're watching.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's all these lights, I forget.
I know. So, okay, we are ready for our next guest
Right.
that we're going to bring in.
kind of on the same.
We're going the
page.
same operationally,
we're
what's
definitely-
taking place internally.
We have a
within the
theme
company.
today, guys, and it wasn't even on purpose.
Right, right.
Um,
All right, so Christian, come on out. Let's bring Christian out. And Christian is another one of our valuable,
Operations.
yes, taking care of what's going on out in the field to take care of our customers. Well, you might need to sit a little closer so they can hear you. There you
I
go.
don't bite
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Right, exactly. So, Christian, thank you for joining us. We
Sure.
appreciate having you in. Now, how long have you worked at Gruber?
I've worked here a little bit over 2 years.
A little
I
over 2
started
years.
in January of 2021 or
Fantastic.
22, sorry.
I was like, wait.
Yeah.
It's funny. In my past history over the years, I've come up with a marker in my brain that, after you've worked someplace for 2 years, then you're at a place where you can be confident working there because you understand how the systems and processes work
Right.
internally and what the expectations are.
Right.
So you're really at that point now, being here a few years now too, having the 2-year marker. And
Yes.
now, can you please tell us what your role is here?
Well, I'm the depot coordinator, and I'm also
Right.
a receiver.
Okay.
For
You do a
which
lot of different
I
things.
receive for, shipments that come in.
Okay. So
So-
unloading those big UPS units.
And then
You're-
I help in the field sometimes too with
right,
battery
right.
jobs. And
That's fantastic. Well, that's got to keep your job interesting, being able to function within those different roles.
yes.
Keeps your days going.
I'm very busy.
I know.
Yes, he is. I don't ever see him at a walk pace. It's always a
Fast,
trot.
fast. That is
Every
true.
time I see him, he's trotting somewhere or has his hands elbow deep in something. So
Absolutely. Now, you've been a big part of the initiative. One of the things that Claude has done is cleaning up and organizing and ensuring that our warehouse, our parts room, and all the different areas that we function and work out of are organized so that
Efficiency.
there you go. See,
Right.
Nicole. There's those words I'm
I'm
looking
telling
for. So, anyways, you've been a big part of that in helping that initiative and driving, the organization that we've got going on to take care of our customers in a timely, manner.
Yeah.
But going off track from that, I'm going to divert from that a little bit here. What originally attracted you to this company?
Well, I was fresh an Arizonian. We just moved here
Okay.
2021
Oh, right.
November. I was
Yeah.
looking for a job, and I heard about Gruber.
Oh, really?
And I've never been exposed to this industry, didn't know anything about it, just
Oh,
like others
wow.
have said.
Right.
And I thought, well, let me give this an opportunity to try.
Right.
And I was interested in a whole different line of work from where I came from.
Wow.
So before I was working in state government in the state of Washington.
Oh, yeah, that is a totally different.
Way different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
We've had similar experiences working in other industries. Well, it's a lot of the employees here. We come here, for a new career, taking on a new industry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like that's a lot of different people.
It is. It really is. We've had a lot of people, turn their paths into a different direction.
You can easily start over at Gruber in your 40s.
I
Right.
can attest to that.
Right.
Me too.
Now, what sets this company apart from other companies you've worked?
Well, like between state government
Right.
and a private company,
Yeah.
it's a big difference. But what I liked about it was a small company. Also, like I just said before, the opportunity for something different.
Right.
And then since I've been here, it's a team atmosphere, which I kind of worked in a negative environment before for many years.
Gotcha.
It's
Gotcha.
kind of everybody for themselves and
Right.
not really so team oriented.
Right. Helping to lift each
And-
other up.
Yeah, so that's one thing that has set it apart that I've seen, experienced.
That's great. That's great. And that's exactly, I believe that's what we all want for each other, is to have that.
Plus, it's been everybody's so helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
We try.
We try.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you do unto others that you want done to yourself.
Right.
That whole motto.
Right.
And I think everyone, it really carries that within them around here.
And I think a lot of it is, and this is something I explain to the new hires and also in interviews, is that we want you to be successful. We're going to set you up the best we can for you to be successful, because if you're successful, then we're successful as a company. And that's where the growth comes from. And that's where the extras, the lunches and the parties and the celebrations and all that stuff comes from teamwork and everybody working together to help each other out, because the better each individual person is, the better the team is going to be.
Right.
And so that's something that I try to stress as much as I can is
Right.
we want you to be successful, and we're going to do everything we can to help you be successful.
Right.
And personally, if I have no idea what you're talking about, I know who will. I will find somebody for you. Not always
Right.
me, because I don't have all the answers, and there's a lot of stuff I don't know. And I've gone to Christian several times. Hey, I don't know what this means. I don't know what this part is. Can you help us find it? What's this part? And I don't know. I'm flustered because I can't find a part number or whatever. And he's always down to help and do his part too.
Figure it
So
out.
definitely,
Right.
you definitely fit that bill right too.
Well, he's a valuable player in our topic today when we're talking about providing our customers with the option of a rental UPS unit, a temporary unit from when they're trying to keep their uptime running. You're ensuring that we are getting the equipment in to get out and making sure that we're getting them organized in the depot, getting them out,
Right.
coordinating
Making
that.
sure everything works.
Yes. Yeah, we test the units, make sure, like Lenny does that. We talked
Right,
to her
right.
earlier.
But you're the coordinator, so you're making sure that they're getting scheduled in there and all of that.
Yeah, processing all the requests, service requests, and
Okay.
making sure everything's wrapped up and transferred from depot to shipping.
Okay.
Yeah.
To get it out. Okay. Well,
But
that's
then,
important.
also
Yeah.
one of the things that you jump in and help is ensuring that things get shipped out on time, because I know that's a huge
That's a big
customer.
deadline to meet.
I don't want to say issue, but importance when it comes to the customer is they need this stuff. Like they can't just not have it. It's so important for the customers to have this equipment, especially the batteries and the power mods and things like that. And so Christian's real good about jumping in and helping package things and make sure they get out the door in a timely manner. When we do go through an influx of orders and, Dustin is, he gets everybody all hands on deck. And so that is one of the things that Christian definitely does to help out with the customer service around here.
Oh, that's
for sure.
another thing. I also assist him when it gets really busy.
Yeah.
So I'm a backup
That's
shipper.
awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Another
right.
area that I work in.
Right.
right. What are the other-
We'll try to add all your hats in here. We'll try.
Right.
Now, what advice would you give to a new employee?
One is, I would say, always don't be afraid to ask questions.
Right.
Just realize you're not going to know everything.
Right. That's a big one.
Also, just be patient. I had to be patient. I had so much to learn when I got here.
Right.
Well, it's every day, really.
We're always learning.
Or in this
Yeah.
industry,
Yeah.
it never stops.
Yeah, and just
Right.
realize it's like getting educated again.
Right. Well, it's funny. I always say that we're getting, we're earning a paycheck to learn. Like, how great is that? Rather than having to pay to learn, we're earning a paycheck while learning. So, you're getting that best world.
Right.
We got some comments.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I did Pete's.
All right. No problem. Justin Parker, heart emoji, and Gruber. Welcome. And Justin Parker, looking good, you all. Well, thank you, Justin. We
Justin.
appreciate your participation today. And now, the last question I'll go over with you is what are you most excited about for the future of Gruber?
Where it's headed, the company,
Yes.
it just continues to grow every quarter.
Right.
I mean, it's just,
Right.
It's amazing the records we're breaking on a continual basis. And we've been doing this consistently for several years now.
right.
And, again, it's that methodical, consistent growth rather than what we saw with the store shutting down this morning that was all over the news.
Oh, I saw that email too.
Yeah,
about
yeah, with the several stores shutting down and the discount stores. And, sometimes people grow too rapidly, too quick, and rather than doing it in the strategic, methodical manner.
Right.
Yeah. So we're setting ourselves
And-
up well that way.
Putting employees in the right places.
Right.
Yeah.
Like taking Lenny out of sales and having him
Right.
revamp the whole depot area.
Exactly.
And I know Christian's been a big part of that as well. The two of them have, and I'm sure Ray has been a big
Ray
part of that too.
Fierro's a big part of it.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of just, okay, these are the things. It's not necessarily broken because we were always able to take care of the customers. We're always able to get them their stuff. But how can we do this
Improve.
more efficiently? And how can we just make this a better process? And so I think them all coming together and coming up with their ideas has really changed that process. And things just seem to run more smoothly now.
Well, I wanted to say one thing about the operations department.
Sure.
We've really gelled together.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we really work well together as a team.
That's
And-
important.
Yeah.
That is so important.
Very important.
That you have a team
So I'm enjoying that.
that can
So,
function efficiently, work well together, because ultimately that's how you are successful,
Right.
at the end of the day.
right.
Yeah. So that's great to hear. And that's good feedback that we've got for sure.
And I know a lot of the stuff that you guys changed and put together was based on the fact that we are growing, because this is working for us now, but are based on the way we've grown over the last few years or few quarters even. What can we do because we foresee this extra growth? And so what can we do to make it easier for the future? And so I think a lot of the things that these gentlemen have been doing has made it where the future is going to be a lot brighter and just run a lot more smoothly with the growth that we're doing. So I think that was a very good.
One of the things I think of when we talk about this is the old adage, well, we're not going to keep doing something just because we've always done it that way.
Right.
You know, we're not going to do it the same way because we've always done it the same way. And, you know, it's always about looking for those areas, you know, as technology evolves, that
Right.
allows us the ability to evolve, to improve our processes, to improve our systems, to improve what we're doing and how we're doing it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. That
We
is
always have to be willing to grow and change. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
evolve through it. Yeah, for sure. Okay, Andrew Glenn. Gruber has a vision, and I think that's what sets most great businesses apart from others. Indeed. Yes, it's having that
100%.
vision. Yes. And that's a big part of our leadership, setting us up with that vision,
Right.
mission. And so that
He's got new
way,
vision
for sure.
every couple of days.
Yes,
So that
definitely.
helps.
But yes, all of us having that set up so that way we can all move forward in the same direction is a big
Right.
part of it. Yeah. Well, Christian, it's great having you join us
Thanks for
today.
having
It's
me.
been fun.
Thank you for coming.
You provide another perspective and a part of the group that, you know, we don't often get to, because you're working behind
From
the
the scenes,
scenes
right.
every day, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's
There's not a lot of customer interaction, but the amount of effort you put in to make sure those customers are taken care of in the manner that they are is significant. And I
Right.
think that's something that kind of gets overlooked. I mean,
right.
we know what you guys do, but like
Right.
as far as like the viewers and the
working in-
customers and stuff,
right.
they don't get to see you guys. So
They don't know
Yeah.
the people
Definitely wanna-
behind the scenes
Right.
making things
There's a
happen and implementing
whole-
them.
Yes,
They
there's a
don't-
whole nother
yeah.
level back there that a lot of people, even
Right.
even some of us that work here, we don't realize exactly how much you guys have done. And I
Right.
think we might take that for granted because you guys do so well at everything you do, and you take such good care of us and the
Right.
account managers that we just kind of
We put the purchase order in and
then
say
it
go,
appears.
and then all of a sudden our customer says, "Yep,
Right.
I got that unit."
right, exactly.
Right.
And I think
Yeah.
so. We appreciate you. I know
Thank
that the salespeople appreciate you, and I know we're not real good about running downstairs and saying, "Hey, we appreciate everything you're doing for us," but we
Right.
do. So just definitely know that you are very, very appreciated upstairs and all of the work that you guys are putting in, and Lenny too. I should have probably said that to Lenny as well,
Right,
but
right.
but
And
we definitely
Lorilee
and
and-
Lorilee. Well, I tell Lorilee we appreciate her all the time, but and she talks to the customers too.
Right.
And I just think it's different when you don't have that everyday communication with the customers. So definitely something that we need to emphasize
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
while we have the chance.
so thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
in. We appreciate you joining us.
Yeah.
You know, we'll
Thanks
have
again.
future podcasts and
Of
bring
course.
you all in
Right.
again. Maybe we'll have a reunion show.
Okay.
A podcast reunion.
Right.
Bring everybody in. Isn't that what they do on those reality shows?
Yes.
They have those reunion
And everybody
shows.
sits together and
Right,
Yeah.
right. They bring everybody in.
We'll have to wait for the new studio for that
The
one.
movie
Yeah.
you saw 20 years ago.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Have a
you.
good
All right.
afternoon. We'll see
I
you
will.
shortly.
Yep, exactly.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap for today. I
Well,
don't know.
Since our friends over at Com decided to spill the beans a little bit yesterday during their podcast, I don't know if you saw that.
No, I was busy. I had
So-
contractors, I was
Right.
taking care of.
So, speaking of things that we do in celebrations
Oh,
and
okay.
things of that nature that we do here at Gruber, we
Okay.
are currently working on a celebration. We're planning a celebration.
Oh, okay. Of
Um,
our upcoming celebration.
Yes,
Sure.
for
sure.
our 40th year.
Right. Right.
We have a lot of things in plan that we're not going to let you guys know.
Divulge
But
just yet.
definitely stay tuned because it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting. And we can't wait to share all that with you when the time comes, but stay tuned for that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's the icebreaker.
Let's set the stage. We've
Right.
got something coming
Let's
up.
get it. We're
Stay
going to have
tuned.
a party.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Right.
All right. Signing off. There we go.
have a great weekend, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.